Good afternoon to you from Brunswick County. Today it's Brunswick men's basketball on YouTube as they host the Johnston Community College Jaguars. Today's game brought to you by our friends at Whiteville Urgent Care. There's all the information you need to know about those fine folks, and we thank them for their support. Hi, everybody. Chris Shima, glad to be with you here this afternoon. Let's meet the starting lineups for both of these teams. We'll start with the Jaguars of Johnston coming in at 1-13. Head coach Jason Johnson, 8-34 in his second season. Starting number 5, Kenny Williams. Number 10, Antone Miller. Number 12, Chris Dixon. Number 32, Khalil Bryant. And number 50, Michael Fagans. Now the starters for your Dolphins and Brunswick County. Head coach Walter Shaw in his 18th season. Starting number 3, Elijah Gore. Number 13, Xavier McCoy. Number 14, Myquan Gooding. Number 15, Mike Melvin. And number 21, Josh Woodard. So that's the starters for both of these teams. Brunswick coming off that win last week. On Saturday, they took down Lenore 102-64, and the Jaguars from Johnston coming off a 103-46 loss against Cape Fear last night. This is the third game in 3 days for Johnston, and they have struggled, to put it mildly, this season. At 1-13. They have allowed 100 points or more in 9 of their 14 games so far this season. And Brunswick, it's their second meeting with the Jaguars. The Dolphins winning easily in their first meeting by a score of 96-74 on the road, November 6th. Dolphins shot 44% in that game, had 61 rebounds, 21 assists on 35 makes. Hutchinson and Wilson had 12 points each. Melvin with 11, Daly with 10. Wilson also had 9 rebounds, and Gore with 4 assists. Johnston controls the opening tip there in the blue. Brunswick in their home white with the teal numbering and lettering. Johnston is a decent rebounding team, so as you see here on this first possession, they can get some second chance opportunities. Their problem really has been turnovers, and it's been defense. They've allowed 95.6 points per game on average. As I mentioned, they've allowed more than 100 more times than not this season. Although they played Brunswick tough, it was a blowout win for the Dolphins, but it was one of their closer blowout losses for the Jaguars this season. As I mentioned, they lost by nearly 70 to Cape Fear last night. So 20 on the shot clock as the foul was called on Brunswick. Driving in, Williams kicks it out to Fagans. Swings it left side for Bryant. Bryant buries the triple, so Johnston takes a 3-0 lead. The one thing they can do is shoot the three. Bryant shoots 38% from the field and 60% from behind the arc, so he's shooting 22 percentage points better from behind the arc as Gooding gets Brunswick on the board on the second chance. Pressure being shown by the Dolphins, trying to force some early turnovers here against the Jaguars. Top of the key, it's Bryant again, and he bangs through another one. So 6-2, the Jaguars hot at the start. Gooding drives to the bucket, couple of pumps, draws the foul on Dixon. Thanks for sticking around, folks. Sorry about the delay. There was some clock issues during the women's game that held us up a little bit. So this is game 2 of a doubleheader here today at Brunswick CC. Myquan Gooding had 9 points in the first meeting between these two teams. He's a 73% free throw shooter, and he gets the first one to go. The Dolphins are 8-1. Undefeated here at home at 5-0. Folks, just a reminder, we got the YouTube chat going. If you want to give me a shout, let me know who you're rooting for, what you're watching. You can be my color commentators as well, right on that YouTube chat. Fagans on the right wing, going to drive in, gets it to the corner, and Dixon drives. Dixon, a couple of pumps altered by Brunswick. Melvin throws full court. Now Gore over to Gooding. Gooding right of the lane, got the jumper to go. And we are tied at 6. 2 minutes into the basketball game. And the first turnover. Gore with the steal. Gore to the bucket, yes. And Brunswick with its first lead of the afternoon. Brunswick is 5th in Division I, averaging 13.9 steals per game. As you see them here in the trap. And losing it out of bounds was Miller. This is a second-year program Brunswick's going up against. Jason Johnson last year guiding his team to 7-21 in their first season. This year has been a little bit rougher at 1-13. Their lone win at Thomas Nelson back on November 11th, that was a 3-point victory. From the elbow, it's Woodard on the turnaround. No, McCoy, the putback off the glass and in. So it's a 6-0 run for Brunswick. The Dolphins leading by 4. Just about 3 minutes in. That was a travel. Good eye by the official. It came late, but the whistle did come. So Fagans turns it over, and the press is forced back-to-back turnovers now. Gooding will inbound it. Different starting lineup. No Devin Hutchinson or A.J. Baldwin or Wilson. So Walter Shaw going to his bench, and now an offensive foul called on Brunswick. We saw it last week, and I'm sure if things go the same way that they did last Saturday, we'll see it again. Brunswick, Walter Shaw using that deep bench. Everybody gets an opportunity for some minutes, especially that's a throwaway by Miller as he lost the dribble out of bounds, looking for a foul call. Instead, it's the 3rd straight turnover for the Jaguars. To the bucket. No trouble for Melvin, and an early 30-second timeout. Jason Johnson, the head coach of Johnston, will take a break and come right back. Well, once again, folks, I want to give a shout-out to our friends at Whiteville Urgent Care, located across from KFC. And if you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to build an urgent care, why not across from a KFC? Go to KFC, get your bucket of chicken, and right to the urgent care afterwards. So thanks to the folks at Whiteville Urgent Care. We do appreciate their sponsorship. One of the reasons why we've been able to bring you these games here this season is because of our sponsors. So everybody at Whiteville Urgent Care, big shout out to you guys. I bet they're busy. There is a lot of stuff going on. Chris Sheeman, glad to be back with you. A little turnaround shot from Kenny Williams, their best scorer, Johnston. Kenny Williams is averaging 19.8 points per ball game, but the Dolphins come right back. That did end a Brunswick 6-0 run. Now it's a steal by Woodard. Woodard lost it. Top of the key. Gore to the bucket. Gore scoops it up and in. So Brunswick, after that early jittering, they trailed 6-2 at one point, now up 16-8. So Johnston, turnaround shot, bounces up in the friendly rim here on the road for Williams as he gets it to go. Kenny Williams, 53% shooter, and as I mentioned, around 20 points per game on average for him. Woodard to the bucket draws the foul, so Josh goes to the line. If you wonder why the Dolphins seem like they're in sync, a lot of these guys have played together for many years. Josh Woodard at the line and Sadiq Johnson, who we'll likely see off the bench. They were teammates at West Brunswick just down the road. My man Ty Johnson is the new head coach down there. And several other Dolphin players were also teammates, either in high school or at AAU competitions or whatever. First sub of the game for Johnston, and Fagans goes out. Coming in is Christian Lawrence. Wilson and Thomas, who we'll see as well today, also playing their high school ball together. Woodard and Johnson, as I mentioned, playing at West Brunswick. McCoy and Melvin were teammates for 3 years in high school. Baldwin, Wilson, and Thomas all played on a travel team in Fayetteville that's actually coached by an alumni of Walter Shaw's program, Mr. Brandon Holmes, who was a former BCC player around 2000, 2001, I believe. So here comes the farm. New set of 5 for the Fish as Najee Thomas comes into the game. He's number 32. Also Khalil Daly, number 11. Number 1 is Tevin Heath. Number 5 is A.J. Baldwin. I'm always missing one. Looks like number 12, Jael Scott. So Scott into the game as well, and that's the new 5. Still no Devin Hutchinson. Heath, the hand in his face, trying to volleyball it back in was Scott. Extra possession here for Daly in the offense. Baldwin scoops it up, can't get the roll, tip up, no. And finally the rebound for Johnston coming from Miller. Miller to the bucket, too strong off the glass. Scott with the rebound. Good defense, by the way, from Thomas on that as Heath misses the layup. This second unit is cold right now, but getting extra opportunities to try to make something happen here. So Scott's inbound. Scott had 8 points in the first meeting between these two teams. Baldwin top of the key. AJ had 6 against Johnston in November. That's short by Thomas, and rebound to Dixon. Bryant to the bucket. Bryant, yes. 6 minutes in, 18-12 Brunswick. Johnston led in the early going by 4. Dolphins made a 6-0 run. And now it's Baldwin top of the key. Open look for Scott. Triple is good. Jael Scott, a 38% free throw shooter, or 3-point shooter, excuse me, from the Charlotte area, making it 21-12. A palindrome for those of you who enjoy that kind of thing. Scott extends the lead with the steal and layup, and the first double-digit advantage for Brunswick here. 23-12, another steal by Scott, but he lost it himself. Now it's Bryant for Johnston, and he traveled. Nope, wait a minute. They're going to call a foul on Brunswick, I believe. Khalil Bryant has 6 of the 12 for Johnston as he'll inbound it. Here's Lawrence. Bryant over to Hall. Now Lawrence for 3. Missed it short. And here comes Daly in the offense. Nifty pass by Baldwin to Heath, who lays it up and in. A.J. Baldwin, 5.1 assists per game, had 14 assists against Vance Granville, and off the bench, a pretty assist there. Driving is Williams, and that's going to be a foul on Brunswick. 2 team fouls for the Jaguars with 12:42 left to go. 4 on Brunswick here in the opening half. Dixon backs it out. Swings it left side. Lawrence underneath Dixon. Couple of fakes. Draws the contact, and he'll go to the line off the missed basket. Christopher Dixon, a 73% free throw shooter. The Jaguars as a team averaging just 74.8 points per ball game. Scoring has been a problem, but we've seen good shooting from Bryant. Kenny Williams, who's talking to the coaching staff back down on the other end of the court right now, is a good scorer. They need to get stops on the defensive end, though, because you look at their scoring, and it's not going to be what the opponents are, so you have to step it up on the defensive end when you know you're struggling offensively. Credit the press. Active hands for the Dolphins in the early going. A lot of steals forcing a lot of turnovers here in the first about 8 minutes of this game. Stepping left, shooting the three is Daly no good. Lawrence with the rebound for the Jaguars. 25-14, Brunswick by 11 as we approach 12 minutes to go here in this opening half. Here's Bryant. Bryant to the bucket, scoops it too strong off the glass. Offensive rebound by Williams, swings it out. Lawrence, pass now, top of the key to Adam Tucker. Tucker is making just his rare appearance for Tucker as he'll fire it to beat the clock, and that will go out of bounds. So good defense again from Brunswick as the Dolphins get the turnover, and they take the ball back with an 11-point lead. Top of the key, Thomas. Thomas looking for the alley-oop, tried to tip it up, no, stayed with it, can't get it to go. And then the rebound to Williams again. Kenny Williams just 6'2", but he's a good rebounding guard as he's fouled. That's team foul number 6 on Brunswick already with 11-17 still to play here in the half. Johnston has just 2. Williams goes out, so their main scoring threat is out as Miller comes back in. Bryant. Lawrence top of the key. 17 on the shot clock for Johnston. Heath on Bryant. Bryant tried to dribble in. Now the shot clock down to 7. Here's Miller. Miller lost the dribble. Shot clock's at 4. They got to hoist it. Tucker realizes, gets it off. But good defense again. Scott. And here comes Brunswick now. Baldwin steps into a 3 and hits it. A.J. Baldwin just 21% from behind the arc on the season, but gets his first to go here today. And Brunswick doubling up Johnston now, 28-14. Here's Miller, and Miller, the late whistle, and some grumbles on the Brunswick bench as the foul is called on them again. So 2 shots for Miller, and Johnston will be in the bonus the rest of the half. Antoine Miller, 67% free throw shooter. This is his first one. So 1 out of 2. Brunswick by 13. Baldwin over to Scott. Catch, shoot 3. Got it to go. Jael Scott, his second three-pointer here in the opening half. Brunswick by 16. Lawrence. Miller. Tucker drives in, scoops it up. Yes, and the foul. So Adam Tucker, a 55% free throw shooter, will try to complete an old school three-point play. More subs. Budante Thorpe, number 22 for the Jaguars, coming in for the first time, and Fagans, number 50, returning as they join Tucker and Dixon, also Miller. That's the 5 on the floor for Johnston. Three-point play, incomplete. Rebound to Thomas. Here comes Brunswick. Baldwin flies into the forecourt, and he's going to be fouled before the shot. It'll be team foul number 3 on Johnston. Johnston's from kind of up the road. Think maybe between Wilmington and Raleigh, but not Fayetteville, if that makes any kind of sense to you. It's in the eastern part of North Carolina. Second-year program, just 1-13. They're a Region 10 team, but the Division 3 Region 10 team. And so far this year, they're 0-3 in Division 3 play. Another foul on the Dolphins. Well, it's only been a game and a half of a half, but I can tell you that the Dolphins are active defensively, sometimes a little too much so. They commit a lot of fouls. Daquan Lockamy will come in as Thomas has already picked up 3 fouls. Sometimes you just got to know when to let the play go. Being aggressive is one thing, being over-aggressive is another thing, and it's a fine line, especially we talked about it last week in college basketball and the way the game's officiated now. It's a very fine line between those two. So Tucker trying to get 2 out of 2 here. Again, just 1 out of 2 that time. Baldwin, the rebound. Heath back to A.J. Past the midway point here in the opening half. Baldwin, the rocket pass is deflected off Fagans out of bounds. The Jaguars are last in Division 3 in most offensive and defensive stat categories, or close to last, I should say, in most of those categories. Heath, now Daly. This is Johnson. I mentioned Sadiq Johnson coming in for the first time today. Driving is Baldwin, and Baldwin gets the foul with 3 on the shot clock. So A.J. Baldwin goes to the line. Antonio, 60% free throw shooter. And gets the first to go. Well, Brunswick hosting its Holiday Classic next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We will have the games for you on Thursday and Friday. They take on a prep school on Thursday at 5, and then against Chattanooga State Friday also at 5. And again, we'll have both of those games for you. Bryan and Stratton is the other opponent. That'll be Saturday at 2. You have to make the drive down if you want to watch that one. Cape Fear also taking part in that. We'll do Cape Fear's games on their YouTube page. Both of those games on Thursday and Friday will be about 20 minutes after the Brunswick games are complete, so around 7 o'clock. From right of the lane, it's Thorpe, his first bucket. Baldwin over to Daly on the right. Back to Baldwin. Lockamy. Swung over to Johnson, fakes the 3, drives in, can't get it to go. Good defense by Fagans as he pulls down the rebound as well. Dixon out near midcourt. Hall, Demetrius Hall coming into the game and had it deflected out of bounds. 19 fouls for Brunswick, 4 for Johnston with 8:43 left to go. So the Jaguars in the bonus. Hall, Miller top of the key. Fagans. Quick pass back to Thorpe for 3, no. Skying for the rebound. Omari Wilson. Omari Wilson will bring it into the forecourt. He's on the court with Baldwin and Johnson. Also Lockamy and Daly, who has the ball here on the right side. Daly had it poked away, but it's a reach, and that'll be team foul number 5. It'll also set the shot clock back to 20. Baldwin will inbound it. Open look, catch and shoot. Johnston for three. So raining triples for Brunswick, just like it was in the first half of last Saturday's game against Lenore. Brunswick using the outside shot. Out of control look from Miller there. Rebound by Daly, and that pass goes over everybody's head and out of bounds. So Brunswick, after a couple of easy weeks and just 2 games in the last 3 weeks or so, will be busy next weekend with games Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Into the forecourt, it's Miller. Top of the key, Fagans. Fagans, the step back, the big man. Oh, that was pretty. Into the forecourt, Daly. Scoops it to Baldwin. Past 7.5 left to play here in the opening half. Baldwin to the bucket. Wild shot. Ball deflected. Ping pong back to him. Puts it up again. No. And the rebound control by Hall for Johnston. Johnston drives in. Hall no good. Ball deflected and it's thrown away. Trying to save it was Miller. Trying to go behind the back was Baldwin. And another turnover. Jaguars now will set up the offense. Miller on the left. Here's Fagans on the elbow. Hall top of the key. Thorpe on the right. Pass deflected. Can Daly save it? Lockamy hits it forward. Wilson, the Baldwin. Baldwin couldn't get a handle on it. Sloppy right now for both teams, and a frustration foul for Baldwin. Looks like we're going to get another sub for Brunswick. Elijah Gore's going to come into the game. So 10 team fouls now on the Dolphins, so that means double bonus time for the Jaguars over the final 6:26. We still haven't seen Devin Hutchinson today. He's not hurt, is he? That's interesting. Hutchinson, who's a Radford commit, and one of the better players for Walter Shaw, all the way at the end of the bench with the warm-up still on. They call an intentional foul, I believe. Dixon's at the line all by himself, so it was a technical foul called on Brunswick. Baldwin, so it was on AJ. So did he get a personal and a technical? He might have. He's going to sit either way. 2 subs for the Jaguars. Coming back in is Bryant. So it was a technical and a personal. So double bonus now for Miller. Kenny Williams also back in there for Johnston. Right now, Brunswick's making the game difficult on themselves more than anything. This should be a comfortable win today. Sometimes when you know that, you get sloppy and you get in your own head and you start playing down to the level of your opponent. And there's another mistake. Lockamy stepped out of bounds. Again, it's mental things like that that help teams like the Jaguars stick around, and they've got some shooters. They're 1-13, but you got to take everybody as serious as if they were 13-1. Well, Devin Hutchinson, as soon as I say that, he's into the ball game. So Hutchinson in for the first time as Williams gets it on the bank, and it's a 10-point game. Hutchinson quickly, Lockamy can't get it to go. Devin Hutchinson did not play, from what Walter Shaw told me, in high school at all. That 3 off the mark from Bryant. He made 2 earlier. Look out. Gore to Wilson. Wilson had trouble with it, turns on the Jets, and now underneath it's Lockamy again. Called for the offensive foul, I believe trying to clear some space. So approaching 5.5 left to go here in the opening half, and the Jaguars finding themselves on a run. That's poked away, though. Good defense again. Wilson, 2-on-1. Alley-oop back to him. Throw it down, big man. The pass from Johnston was on point. Maybe that'll be the play that shakes off the cobwebs for Brunswick here. 3 in and out by Dixon. Running and gunning. Brunswick. Here's Hutchinson for 3. And just like that, it's back to 15. Devin Hutchinson, 45% three-point shooter. And it's amazing if it's true, and he didn't play any high school basketball, for him there to come to Brunswick and earn a D1 scholarship to Radford. I mean, props. Steps into a 3 here. Not that time. Probably a bad shot, as it was good defense from Dixon. From way downtown, Hall. And that'll go out of bounds. So 4:26 left to go here in this first half. A reminder, at halftime we'll take our usual 15-minute break. So we'll go away. Elijah Gore, Johnson, Hutchinson now looking for a screen from Lockamy. Screen and roll to Lockamy, and Lockamy, they say no shot, but Daquan was fouled on the floor. That'll be team foul number 6 for the Jaguars. Adam Tucker will come into the game for Johnston. Somebody lose a tooth? No way. It looks like Hall might have had a tooth come out. So they're going to look for it. Oh, man, yeah, I see it right there on the floor. Oh, boy. Hopefully it's a crown or something. I would think it's a crown, or he'd be in a lot more pain. Well, he'll go right to the bench. Yeah, he's hurting. Oh, boy. They say basketball's not a contact sport. Dude just lost his tooth. Missed shot now. Here comes Johnston. Miller to the bucket, and he's fouled. My goodness. Now we're starting to get some grumbles here. Again, I say it every week. I say it twice a week, every game that I do. This is the way the game is called now. It's very difficult to play defense anymore in college basketball. So Miller, 67% free throw shooter, connects on his first. Miller, the sophomore from Detroit, gets them both. The lead is 11, 41-30. Turning on the Jets is Gore to the bucket, and no trouble for Elijah. Terrible defense for the Jaguars, and now an offensive foul is called on Williams. Tried to shove his defender out of the way. That's going to be team foul number 7, I believe. But it was an offensive foul, so no 1-and-1 yet. Oh, they called a technical foul, if not a flagrant. So it'll be Sadiq Johnson to shoot. Not the first one to go. So the Dolphins 2 free throws and the basketball back as the second one rims in for Sadiq. So the lead of 15 now. Both teams are in the bonus over the final 3:41. It's a 7th team foul on Johnston. And Devin Hutchinson will inbound it. Wilson, top of the key, Johnson. Lockamy right of the lane, lost it off his foot. Steal by Williams. Williams to the bucket around 2 defenders and scores. One of the rare easy looks for the Jaguars here this afternoon. Gore to the left, and Lockamy again away from the ball. I think that might be his third. Xavier McCoy getting set to come into the game. Now, correction, they called it on Sadiq Johnson. So Johnson picking up his second, and he goes to the bench for McCoy. Jaguars get the basketball back here, trailing by 13. Bryant fakes the 3 to the bucket, off the glass and in. So credit the Jaguars. They've been blown out in most of their games, but they're hanging around now, and forcing that turnover was Antone Miller. Inside 3 minutes to go here in this opening half. Bryant gets a screen, steps into a 3. Missed that one short, and I believe it might have hit the shot clock. So more subs. Giles Scott coming back in for the Dolphins. He'll replace Lockamy. Gore into the forecourt. Swings it left side to Wilson. Wilson directing some traffic now. Hutchinson top of the key. He's guarded by Tucker. Hutchinson, couple of pumps, no, but the follow is good. Brunswick by 13. Miller into the front court. Over on the far side of your screen. In the corner, it's an open look for Williams. Can't get the 3, and the rebound to Gore. Gore, numbers now for McCoy in the offense. Scott will back it out. Inside 2 minutes to go. Scott looking for a Hutchinson, and they say Hutchinson lost it out of bounds. Trying to thread the needle on that pass. Hutchinson did what he could, but couldn't keep it in play. Credit the Johnston defense there. And away from the ball, an offensive foul called on the Jaguars. Don't forget, folks, today's game brought to you by our friends at Whiteville Urgent Care. There's the phone number and the website if you want to check them out. I don't know anybody who doesn't know somebody or is not currently sick in some way. So it's a good time of the year to go visit the doctor. To the bucket, McCoy out of control. Williams the rebound. Williams almost carried the ball. Good ball movement, though. Bryant open look. No, he hit his first 2, but he's missed his last 3. And now Williams is going to be called for the foul. And I believe a 1-and-1 now for Brunswick. Oh, they called the foul on the Dolphins. Walter Shaw is not happy. Probably because that's not the right call. So Kenny Williams is going to go to the line. And I believe Walter Shaw might have just gotten teed up as well. No, I think they gave him a warning. It's a bad call. Williams gets the free throws and connects on the first one. and rims the second one in. So the Jaguars continue to hang around here. Dolphins in control for the most part. Catch and shoot from Scott. Can't get the three to go, and the putback by McCoy. So McCoy, who had 4 points in the first meeting between these two teams, already has that number as we go inside 1 minute to go in the opening half. Dixon. Here's Bryant on the right. The pull up way off. Good defense by Gore. Gore throws full court for McCoy. McCoy to the bucket again. And Brunswick with 51 first half points as they extend back to a 15-point lead. Miller to the left. And a bump by Hutchinson. So free throws to come from Tucker. That's one of those fouls in college basketball that I was talking about, that maybe 5 years ago they would let that go, but as it is right now, you can't make contact as a defender like that and not expect it to be a foul. And that's one of the things that the players really have not adjusted. I don't think the coaches have, and they seem to have, the more I watch the Division I games over the last couple of years, but it hasn't really reached this level yet. Gore out near midcourt. Hutchinson, 4 seconds. Devin's got to shoot. He does, and got fouled. Oh, Tucker can't believe it. With 1.3 seconds left to go, Devin Hutchinson will get 3 free throws. Again, the halftime coming up. We'll take a break, so you can go away and check out some other basketball or whatever you want to do. So Hutchinson, unable to get his first to go. And has one more coming. And it's good. So 53-37 will likely be the score as Johnston with the, oh, that was almost good from Dixon, but Brunswick leads by 16 points after 20 minutes of play. The Jaguars led briefly 6-2 in the early going. Brunswick used a 6-0 run to take the lead, and they have led for most of this first half. So we go to the half. It's Brunswick by 16. We'll take a break. Come back in the second half coming up in 15 minutes. Chris Shima, glad to be back with you here at Brunswick. 53-37, the Dolphins over Johnston Community College as we start this second half. It looks like the same starters for the Dolphins as Woodard gets Brunswick on the board here in this final period. So 21 is Josh Woodard, also number 3, Elijah Gore, number 13, Xavier McCoy, number 14, Myquan Gooding, number 15, Mike Melvin. That's the 5 on the floor right now for Walter Shaw's Dolphins. Meanwhile, the starters are the same, it looks like, as well for the Jaguars. Number 5 is Williams, number 10, Miller, number 12, Dixon, number 32, Bryant, and number 50 is Fagans. Overall, a good first half for the Dolphins. They were a little sloppy at times, as you see the turnover there, but for Johnston, Miller was out of bounds. But overall, a well-played opening 20 minutes from Brunswick as they look to go to 9-1 and stay unbeaten here at home, where they're currently 5-0. Dolphins have also won 4 games in a row. Their lone loss was at Lewisburg, always a good program. They lost there on November 11th, so almost a full month without a loss for Brunswick. Gooding draws the foul, so he'll go to the line. The sophomore from Goldsboro. Myquan had 9 points in the first meeting between these two teams. Myquan is a 73% free throw shooter. Short on that one. Reminder, folks, our next broadcast is coming up on Thursday. Dolphins taking on Shooting for Greatness. It's a prep school, and that'll be at 5 p.m. Gooding able to get that to go. So the lead grows to 19. This, by the way, is the biggest lead for Brunswick here today. Miller, ball deflected. Scott trying to stay with it. Dixon, Miller waits for the defender and buries the 3. Patient offense from Antoine Miller. Answering right back, the Dolphins. Melvin underneath for 2, and the lead back to 18. Just about a minute and a half into this second half. Fagan swings it out. Miller to the left for 3. Not that time. Grabbing the rebound is Melvin. Outlet to Gore. Gore, no, but he's fouled. Elijah Gore, 75% free throw shooter, the sophomore from Mount Holly, North Carolina. And he played at Fork Union Academy. It's a military school. However, they also have a postgraduate prep academy. And Elijah playing there as he gets the first free throw to go. Fork Union, the football aspect of their post-grad academy is one of the best in the nation and has been for the last 30 years. They have sent almost 100 players from Fork Union to the NFL. I don't know about their basketball numbers, to be honest with you, but guys like Vinny Testaverde and I believe Herschel Walker and players like that all played at Fork Union. I had a chance to do one of their football games this year, so I'm very familiar with that academy. Catch and shoot for Bryant, got it to go. That's his 3rd three-pointer of the day. 59-43. Melvin on the far side, guarded by Miller. The bounce pass to Woodard. Swings it out. Catch and shoot 3 for McCoy. Bang, it's good. Xavier McCoy, a 48% three-point shooter. Increases the lead to 19. Sub Omari Wilson will come into the game. And I believe he comes in for Woodard. Woodard shaken up underneath. It's Fagans for 2. That ball deflected, but a foul called on Dixon, who can't believe it, but that's a reach. I thought Woodard came out, but it was Scott who came out. Correction. Let's try this again. It was Myquan Gooding who came out. My goodness. Woodard can't get it to go. Melvin the rebound. Extra opportunity here for the Dolphins. 3 minutes into this second half. Chris Shima, glad to be with you here on this chilly day in eastern North Carolina. Floater by Melvin, no good. Fagans with the rebound for Johnston. Williams into the forecourt. Williams, yes, in the foul. And these Jaguars do not quit. They have been blown out this year. Average margin of loss is 21 points per game. They've allowed 100 or more in 9 of their 14 games this season. They're coming off a 57-point loss at Cape Fear, against Cape Fear at home yesterday. It's their 3rd game in 3 days, but they're playing well as can be expected against the Dolphins, who were large favorites here today. 3-point play by Williams, incomplete. Rebound controlled by Wilson. Wilson had 12 points in the first meeting between these two teams. He also had 9 rebounds. Melvin just out of control there. Bryant throws full court. Williams had it poked away. Good defense from Gore. Gore goes to the bucket, and it's deflected out of bounds, and they say off Brunswick. So the ball will go back to Johnston. Dolphins leading by 15. They've led for most of the game. Johnston led briefly at 6-2. Bryant, here's Williams, the reverse, got it to go. Kenny Williams, their best scorer at 19.8 points per ball game, heating up here in this second half. The lead down to 13. Turnaround, Woodard, no trouble from about 10 out. Here's Lawrence. Miller over to Fagans for 3, an air ball. Gore the rebound. Full court pass by Melvin, and Woodard lays it up and in. Nobody back for Johnston. Williams on the right, guarded by Melvin in the man-to-man. Here's Miller for Johnston. Back to Lawrence. Williams for 3. Off the back of the rim, tip for the rebound, and Gooding comes up with it. Here's Gore getting it back to Wilson on the give and go. Nice cut by Wilson, and he'll go to the line. Just one team foul for Brunswick here in this first half, in the first about 5 minutes. 4 now on Johnston. In the first half, Brunswick committed all kinds of fouls in the early going. Johnston went to the line a lot thanks to the bonus. Wilson, first free throw is good. Fagans is out for Johnston. Coming in is number 22, Adante Thorpe. Wilson rims in the second. So the lead is back to 19, matching the biggest of the night, or the day, for Brunswick. Losing the ball was Miller. Good defense underneath for Gooding. He takes it coast to coast, and now their biggest lead is 21. 70-49, Brunswick, in a high-scoring affair. Williams going one-on-one. Got it to go. That was not bad defense from Gooding there. Just a better shot from Kenny Williams. Wilson looking underneath. Bad pass, and they deflected it off Brunswick. Again, trying to do too much every once in a while are the Dolphins. Just make the simple play. Najee Thomas comes into the game. And Josh Woodard will sit down. Chris Shima, glad to be with you here today. Our second of 9 home games here at Brunswick that we'll be bringing you. Now it's a steal from the Dolphins. Good defense by Thomas. Wilson to the bucket. No, but he's fouled. Team foul number 5 on Johnston. We will have games next Thursday and Friday for you here at 5 p.m. Both of those games will start as Brunswick hosts its Holiday Classic. Chattanooga State, Bryan and Stratton, and Shooting for Greatness. That's a prep school coming. Bryan and Stratton's had a good start to their year. It'll be interesting to see them go up against Brunswick and Cape Fear. Two good Eastern North Carolina teams taking on a team from the Hampton Roads area of Virginia. 3 by Gore is good. Brunswick starting to pour it on here in this second half. They're going to get Gooding on a foul, though. So we'll have those games for you, and then that's it until the winter break. Our next broadcast won't be until after the new year. Brunswick will get a breather. 4th game for Brunswick of a 9-game homestand. Block from behind was Thorpe. Their next road game isn't until January 13th at Caldwell Tech. What'd they call there? Another technical foul called on Brunswick. This time it's on Melvin. I didn't see a lot there, but so Thorpe at the line for the first time this season, missing the first. Sometimes it's not what you see, it's what you hear that will get you teed up. So the Dolphins, their second technical here today. Williams out near midcourt. Williams drives in, cut off, bounce pass is short, and oh boy, Wilson tried to save it. He did everything but catch the basketball, just couldn't get it. So couldn't gain control. The shot clock did not reset. There was no change of possession. So the shot clock is at 15 now for the Jaguars. Miller looking for Fagans, who's come back into the game. Ball deflected out, 9 on the shot clock. Bryant will inbound it for the Jaguars. Johnston in its second season, restarting basketball last year. Miller blocked but fouled from behind. So more free throws to come. Team foul number 4 on Brunswick. 5 so far in this second half on Johnston. One out of 2 that time. So to lead down to 22. Daly, corner 3, nothing but net. Khalil Daly, 49% three-point shooter. He's a good one. Stroking that one easy. Thorpe to bounce pass. Fagans had to save it, but threw it away. It's a steal by Gooding. And Gooding carried the basketball. So back-to-back turnovers now as A.J. Baldwin comes into the game. We haven't seen as much shuffling in and out of players as we did last Saturday from Walter Shaw's team. Devin Hutchinson, arguably their best player, has not played much. He played about 7 or 8 minutes in the first half. 3, open look for Williams, can't get it. Gooding with the rebound, and it's deflected out. Not sure if that's by design. You know, 3 straight games coming up this week for Brunswick, but they should be well rested. They've only played a couple of times in the last 3 weeks, including this game. Williams underneath, too strong off the glass, Gooding the board. Here come the Dolphins. 3-on-2. Wilson throwing it down with the 2-hand jam. The lead is 27. So Walter Shaw, you know, against a team that's 1-13 and a team you beat pretty soundly the first time, trying to maybe give some other guys a little extra opportunities here today. 12-11 left to go. Brunswick looking for its 5th consecutive win, looking to stay unbeaten here at home, go to 6-0 at home, and win their 9th in 10 games. Foul called, and right there, I'm with you, AJ. AJ's showing I got all ball, and should have been probably a jump ball, but that's the way this one's been called. And underneath, that shot short from Williams might have been altered. Johnston stays with it, though. Miller. And another foul. That will be 7 quickly on Brunswick. So it'll be a 1-1 now for Johnston. Johnston still with their 5 team fouls. It's painful. It's painful at times to watch this. They have got to go back and look at this and let these kids compete out there. So Dixon at the line for a 1-1. He's a 73% free throw shooter. Just inside 12 minutes to play here in the game. That might be a lane violation. Yeah, they're gonna call. That's a good call. As Gooding leaned in. So it's still a 1-1 here. He did it again. Oh, wait a minute. Now they called Fagans with a push, saying he's trying to push Gooding into the lane. So that will give the ball back to the Dolphins. Baldwin looking to go quickly here. This is Daly driving in, and more whistles. So Daly will go to the line. Team foul number 6 on Johnston. So Khalil Daly, a sophomore from Winston-Salem. Daly had 10 points in the first meeting between these two teams, 53% free throw shooter. He's going to get 2 here. Missing that first one. Dolphins winning the first meeting against Johnston, 96-74 back on November 16th, I believe. So neither free throw good, 80-53, and sorry I wasn't checking the chat, Bobby. Hopefully you were able to get the broadcast going up again. Folks, we're operating on wireless internet here, and at any time it could go down. So if it does, just wait a minute and then refresh your browser, and the game should come right back up for you. Usually it's just a little glitch. That'll take us down for a minute or so, but you will probably have to reset your browser. If you're watching on a Roku, just sign out and log back in, and that should take care of that. Thomas at the line, just 43% free throw shooter, connecting on his first there. 1 out of 2, Gooding the offensive rebound, and Gooding had it stripped. Dixon comes up with it, and yet another foul. Ugh. So that is team foul number 8. Both teams, as I mentioned, are in the bonus with 11:20 left to go. So it's Dixon back at the line for a 1-and-1. Front end is good, so we'll get another one. And both that time. So the lead down to 26 for Brunswick. Baldwin will set up the offense for the Dolphins here. Toss to Wilson on the left. Bounce pass goes to Thomas. Thomas had it poked away. Good defense there by Dixon. Miller comes up with the steal for Johnston. Miller, Wilson trying to poke it away. A scrum for it. And it comes to Baldwin. Baldwin goes with the one-hand jam. A.J. Baldwin throwing it down at 6'1". The man's got some hops, and it's 83-55. Missed jumper there. Wilson the rebound. Here's Baldwin. Baldwin, nice dish to Wilson. Oh, I like A.J. He's made some nifty passes. I mentioned A.J. averages over 5 assists per game. That's going to be a foul called on the Dolphins. 10:16 left to go. Is that team foul number 10? It might be. Another technical foul is called, too. Oh, these officials got out of bed on the wrong side this morning. They are not having it. They call one on Walter Shaw, too. So Michael Fagans, who's just 1 of 3 on the season, will go to the free throw line. And the first one is good. So I think just the one technical. It's also the 10th team foul on Brunswick. There was 2. So Shaw did get teed up. So it was on Gooding and Shaw. So 3 out of the 4, and now that was also the 10th team foul, so I think we're going to have a double bonus here. So in total, 6 free throws for Johnston here in this free throw shooting contest / basketball game. Now they're going to call a timeout. So we will step aside. 10:16 left to go in this basketball game / free throw shooting contest. We'll be back in just a moment. Big thanks to everybody at Whiteville Urgent Care for sponsoring today's broadcast. Chris Sheeman, glad to be back with you. More free throws to come for Johnston here. Double bonus as it's Miller at the line now. So we saw 4 technical free throws taken. And now one more here in the bonus. So 6 free throws in total, and they make 4 of them. That's going to be off Johnston out of bounds. Nope. They say he touched it last, so it will be Johnston basketball. Fagans called for the offensive foul that time, so both teams are in the bonus over the final 10-13, and it's been very tightly called, he said with a groan. A.J. Baldwin out on the court with Gooding and Wilson, also Daly and Heath. That's the 5 for Brunswick right now. Heath, couple of fakes, blocked, stayed with it, blocked again. Can't get it on the third effort either. Williams on the run out for Johnston. Got it to go. So the Jaguars making a little bit of a run here, but Brunswick's been in control throughout for the most part. Heath for 3, got it to go. Tevin Heath, who redshirted at Anderson in South Carolina last year, getting an opportunity here at Brunswick. 88-62. Fagans deflected it off a Dolphin. 9:21 left to go here in the game. Brunswick looking to go to 9-1 and 6-0 here in home. Johnston trying to snap a long losing streak. Fagans missed it back rim. They are just 1-13 are the Jaguars. Region 10 Division 3 opponent. Baldwin, yes, and the foul. Brunswick. A.J. Baldwin will go to the line, try to complete the old school three-point play. That's the 9th team foul on Johnston, so both teams will be in the double bonus for the remainder of this one. Jaguars back on the road on Friday. They take on Guilford Tech at 4 p.m. as the three-point play is complete. Then they visit Catawba Valley next Saturday at 3 p.m. That's the end of the semester schedule for them as Miller connects from behind the arc. 91-65. Baldwin. Gooding. Drives to the basket over 2 defenders, can't get it. Lawrence played some good defense there as he pulls down the rebound. Miller on the left. Tucker. Back to Miller, 7 to shoot, ball deflected. Good defense from Daly. The throw ahead for Wilson, extra pass, and Gooding with the right-hand jam. 93-65, Brunswick is rolling. Williams to the bucket, and he's going to be fouled by Daly, I believe. And again, both teams in the double bonus. .03 left to play. So the Jaguars wrapping up 3 games in 3 days. And then they will finish the first half of their schedule next Friday and Saturday, also on the road. Brunswick in this extended home stretch here. They go on the road a little bit more in January. Heath for 3, no. Skying is Daly, the rebound, put back, and the foul. So Khalil Daly, and also going to line, try to complete the old school three-point play. Daly, 53% free throw shooter, as I mentioned earlier. In and out. Rebound controlled by Dixon. Miller into the forecourt. Pull up three. Too strong. Baldwin throws it ahead for Daly. Daly, another jam. The lead grows to 30, the biggest of the day for Brunswick, as they've led for just about the entire game, except for the opening minutes when it was 6-2. Another throw ahead. The reverse, not that time from Daly. Here comes Johnston now. Miller eyes the three. It's short. Daly the rebound. Miller pokes it away and goes right to the bucket. Inside 7 to play. Gooding to the buckets. Can't get it to go. Rebound controlled by Lawrence. So Walter Shaw has used his second unit as his first unit for the most part today. Baldwin getting a lot of minutes, but we haven't seen much from Devin Hutchinson. We haven't seen much from Najee Thomas. Out is Lawrence. Coming in is Khalil Bryant. And at the line is Kenny Williams for Johnston. Now here's Devin Hutchinson coming in, replacing Daly. Hutchinson, a couple of field goals in the first half, as I mentioned, not playing extended minutes. Gooding, good eye, as he picked up his 5th foul, so his day is done. One out of 2 at the line, 97-70 now. Another sub for Brunswick. Lockamy coming into the ball game. Dolphins, like they did last week with Lenore, on their way to sweeping the season series, the home and home with Johnston. Driving in, Heath throwing it down, and Brunswick approaching the century mark as Tevin Heath with an exclamation point. Driving in and drawing another foul is Williams. It's been rare here in this second half that we've gone more than a minute and a half without a whistle of some kind. So Kenny Williams, 55% free throw shooter, swishes in the first one. Lockamy, as I mentioned, coming in. Devin Hutchinson right back out. Played just one offensive sequence there. Lockamy gets the rebound off the miss. And here come the Dolphins. Oh, turnover there as it pass was off the mark, intended for Wilson. Most players on the Dolphins roster are from North Carolina, but a lot of them started their careers out of state. Gooding played junior college ball in Texas before coming back home in 2015-2016. Lockamy with the block there. McCoy played JUCO ball in Alabama, and Gore played in Florida 2 years ago. So a lot of these guys are experienced. A lot of them have played together. Daly upset with himself as he threw it away, and Williams with the easy bucket. So the lead was 30. It's down now to 24, nearing 5 minutes to go in the game. Wilson. Heath The turnaround, in and out. And they're going to get a foul called on Tucker on the rebound. So 2 free throws for A.J. Baldwin, 60% free throw shooter, the freshman from Fayetteville. Baldwin rims in that one. So Brunswick at the century mark. And it's now 10 games out of 15 that the Jaguars have allowed at least 100. Defense continues to be a problem for Johnston. 2 more subs. Sadiq Johnson checking in, number 22. Khalil Daly also back out there. So Baldwin, Daly, Johnson, also Heath, and Lockamy. That's the 5 right now for Brunswick. That 3 no good for Bryant. He hit his first 2. He's 1 out of 4 since then. 101-75. AJ surveys. Here's Heath on the elbow. Back to Baldwin with 13 on the shot clock. Heath top of the key. Tevin Heath for 3. Off the back of the rim, and they're going to get Lockamy with the push. And that is a good call. So Lockamy picks up the foul. 2 more free throws to come now for Johnston. Be interesting to see when the box score comes out on this one. There have been a lot of free throws. I did a minor league basketball game 2 years ago. There were 100 free throws taken in that game. And I don't think we're going to get quite to that number, but there have been quite a few here today. One out of 2 at the line, so 101-76 is your score. Ooh. Mental error there for Daly. Could not come up with the catch there. .4:15 left to go. Johnston, as I mentioned, they are a second-year program. They won 7 games in their first year. Heath underneath, missing the dunk. Lockamy. Ball deflected. Miller comes up with it for Johnston. Dixon traveled. Good call. Inside 4 minutes to go, it'll be Xavier McCoy to come into the game for Brunswick, replacing Daly. So a 7-win first season for Jason Johnson, the head coach over at Johnston CC, but just 1 so far this year. We'll see if things get a little bit easier for him. Sometimes when you're a Division III team and you're in a region that has a lot of D1s and D2s, you're a little bit overmatched. But once you start to get into region play, things might get a little bit easier for you. So we'll see what the Jaguars do in 2018. Into the forecourt, Mike Melvin, who is back out there. Lockamy top of the key. Bounce pass looking for Heath, and it's taken away by Dixon. Approaching 3 minutes left to go. Reverse shot, a wild shot by Miller. Lockamy threw it away. Good anticipation by Tucker. Underneath Williams, the reverse. It's short. Melvin the rebound, and he is fouled over the back. Well, folks, I want to remind you while they shoot the free throws that Melvin at the line is 63% as he gets the first one to go. You can go to gobccsports.com. Check out all of the Dolphins athletic programs. Big shout out to Walter Shaw for having me here this year. First year able to do this. Appreciate everybody who's checked out the first couple of games now. We got 2 more coming for you next Thursday and Friday. Both are at 5 p.m. And then we'll have, I believe, 5 in the new year, a couple in January, and 3 in February. So that's what's coming up next. Also want to give a big thanks to our friends at Whiteville Urgent Care. You can give them a call. Go to their website if you're ailing a little bit. At the line, Kenny Williams getting the first one to go. Rainbow's the second one as well. The lead has been as high as 30 for Brunswick. It's now at 22 with 2:25 left to go. Johnston's biggest lead was 6-2, a 4-point advantage in the opening 3 or 4 minutes. Lockamy from Heath. Lockamy scoops it and gets the friendly roll. Brunswick 104, Johnston 80. Tucker in the corner, guarded by the taller McCoy, skies it for Dixon. Dixon in the lane, swings it out to Bryant for 3. Off the back of the rim, tipped up by Williams, no. Brunswick with the rebound. Melvin to the bucket, alley-oop, throw it down. Tevin Heath. Nice dish as well on that. Bryant on the right, and he got fouled by Johnson there, so more free throws. Both teams have been in the double bonus for most of this one. And the first free throw up and good. So there's our next broadcast Thursday, as I mentioned, at 5 p.m. Shooting for Greatness Prep will come to town. It's the start of the Brunswick Holiday Classic. We'll do games on Thursday and Friday. Brunswick plays Shooting for Greatness on Thursday, Chattanooga State Friday, and then Saturday's game against Bryan and Stratton we won't stream for you, but that'll be at 2 p.m. if you're able to make the trip down. Driving is Melvin, and he is fouled with 1:12 left to go. So, busy week ahead for the Dolphins. Are you guys done with finals yet? You guys still doing finals this week too? So they have finals Monday and Tuesday, and then the games on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Busy time. I remember when I was in college, though, it was always a fun time. Wrapping up the semester, getting a break from the homework and the lectures, and able to get on the basketball court, playing some classics and tournaments and things like that. It's a good time of the year. Nearing 1 minute left to go. So the Jaguars will fall to 1-14. Heath, extra pass again, unselfish play as he gets it to McCoy for 2. Going unimpeded there was Kenny Williams. Williams is a sophomore. I got to think, even though Johnston has struggled this year, that he's going to get a look from some four-year schools. He's a good player. As I mentioned, just about 20 points, 53% shooter, 50% from behind the arc. He's played well here today as well. Melvin threw it away. Coming in the backcourt was Johnson. They say it was deflected. Heath with 3 on the shot clock, throws it down. And that should do it for this one. So Johnston falls. Well, they're going to get another bucket for Williams. Give him a little extra stats. And Brunswick will dribble it out. So the Jaguars 1-14. And the Dolphins have now won 5 in a row. They go to 9-1 and 6-0 here at home, winning 112-85. Once again, our next broadcast is coming up on Thursday. It's the Dolphins and Shooting for Greatness Prep. That will be at 5 p.m. Until then, folks, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for watching, everybody, and take care.